Dan with S3 Archery here, and Joe and I wanted to throw out a quick little video to kind of help inspire people now that the holiday season is coming up to see if we can't give a couple ideas to people who are maybe thinking about getting something for a traditional archer in their lives. Maybe you're a loved one, mother, father, brother, sister, you name it, and you know that the person that you need to get a gift for is into traditional archery, but maybe you're not 100% sure as far as how vested they are or how much equipment they have, and you don't want to spend a ton of money. And so our intent behind this video is a quick 5 things that are under 45 bucks that you can get a traditional archer that's pretty good bet that they're going to enjoy it. Of course, each one of these ideas you could obviously embellish or maybe upgrade, if you will, and spend significantly more money to get a little bit more of a custom or expensive version. But we're looking for under 45 bucks without shipping if you're going to buy online. Let's get started. First idea that we had is a couple of carbon arrows. 3 carbon arrows are something that most traditional archers, whether they shoot a recurve, a longbow, they maybe are just shooting wood or aluminum arrows, they haven't gotten into carbon arrows. But a carbon arrow, because of its durability, really allows you to have a lot of fun out there stumping. And so if they do a lot of hunting but you don't think they really do some stumping, 3-pack of carbon arrows and a pack of Judos is a perfect idea for someone like that so that they can play around with it. If you don't know what type of bow or how much poundage they shoot, it's going to be hard to get an arrow that spines perfectly to that bow. But if you have a pretty rough idea, most archery shops are going to be able to help set you up. The one caveat is it's hard to buy a 3-pack. I called around the local archery shop, a couple other places, and everyone wants to sell 6 or 12 packs. But luckily we did find that Three Rivers Archery does sell a 3-pack of carbon arrows. I think it's like 25 bucks, roughly, fletched. It's I think it's already cut to a certain length. There's not a lot of options there, but for the price point, you're not going to be able to find a better place out there. And so if you've got somebody that you think maybe would enjoy stumping or hasn't tried it, you can't go wrong. Pick up a 3-pack, get 2 Judos. You're probably at about 40 bucks, and now they can play all spring, all summer long. And if they really love it, then they can dive in head first and get themselves a 6-pack, 12-pack, find the exact spine and length of the arrow. But that's idea number 1 that we have: 3-pack of carbon arrows and 1 pack of Judos. Idea 2, which is going to be very similar, is actually pick them up a couple of flus. Here I've got an example of a spiral as well as just more traditional style flu. I've got one here that's cedar, one that's the carbon. Both of these we picked up at a local shop. You can pick them up online. There's all kinds of different retailers out there. And what's nice about a flu arrow is that you're pretty much good to go, one arrow at a time. You don't need to buy a big pack of them. And so most of the retailers and distributors are selling them in single or 3 packs. You don't have to buy a large quantity of these. The other nice thing is because they're flu arrow and they're catching a lot of wind resistance and slowing that arrow down, the spine is a lot less important as well. And so for someone that is doing some maybe small game hunting or some stumping or wants to play around with aerial, you could pick them up 2, whether it be carbon or the cedar flus, and get them a rubber blunt or something like that on the end, or even don't even put an insert and let them use their own, and they can have fun all spring long. So, idea 2. The third idea we have here for you guys is this nice Rinehart ball target. This thing is absolutely wonderful. You can see that it's seen a little bit of abuse, but I think we picked this up for about 35 bucks at just a local big box store, if you want to call it that. But what's great about this, and what we use it for most of the time, is we'll be going over to a relative or a friend's place that doesn't have archery targets, but is in a place that we could do some archery and has a large enough backyard or maybe some acreage. And you throw this in the back of the vehicle, you grab your bow and a couple of arrows. You don't need any special tips. You don't have to worry about, hauling a big block or anything like that. It's basically a grab and go. You can toss it and then shoot at it wherever it lands. And that lets you practice your distance kind of guesstimation, if you will. And so this for 35 bucks is probably our number 1 recommendation on this list that we'll put together for you here. So 2 different types of arrows. We got a ball target. The next recommendation we have is actually a book. This is the Traditional Bowhunters Handbook by TJ Conrads. Once again, probably far under the $45 mark. I think this one was 20 bucks is where we picked it up. And you can find this at local shops. You can probably pick it up on Amazon, Three Rivers, you name it. If they sell books or they're into archery, they probably have something like this. And this is actually one of the books that we really have put a ton of time into as far as reading it multiple times, using it as a reference when it comes to finding out different things. And when we first started into this traditional archery world, this was picked up at the same time that we put the string on that first Shakespeare. As you can see, it's tabbed up. We got all kinds of different things in here, ideas that we've pulled from the book, or maybe some of our tuning and other things, and so we go back to this constantly. So if you have a traditional archer that maybe is into archery or is into hunting, but they haven't really done a lot of the literature side of it, this is a perfect reference, and it does also go into the beginning, some of the history. Fred Bear, Howard Hill, a bunch of just kind of information on some of the guys that really made this sport what it is today. And then the final thing that we were going to throw out there for you is a nice leather armguard. These things can be picked up custom like the one I have here that we got from Hide Handler. We've got Three Rivers, there's a bunch of Cedar Ridge Archery. You name it, if you type in custom leather armguard, there's probably going to be about 40 or 50 that pop up right away for you. Each person is obviously going to do something a little bit differently, and some of them, they get very elaborate and are going to cost a significant amount of money. Other are a little bit more simple, but still very classic in design. And so like for this one here, we absolutely love it because it's got the two buttons on the side and it's just a crossover design. And so it doesn't have to be laced. You don't have to really order it to your arm. Because of these bungee cords here, you can adjust how much length is there for the tension. And so when we have our big winter weight gear on, we loosen it up. Then when we're shooting in just t-shirts, we tighten it down. Same arm guard works for all seasons. You can see this thing it's seen tons of abuse and it still looks really good. One caveat though is I do know that I called up Steve at Hide Handler, and he said that he's not going to be able to get any of these done for Christmas if you want him to, have the little initials or whatnot in there. And so, if it's something that you can wait until after Christmas, you can go that route. Otherwise, like I said, there's tons of other vendors out there who will do something else for you. So hopefully this gives you a little bit of ideas. There's tons and tons of things. You pick up a catalog for one of the retailers, and there's just hundreds of pages worth of good ideas out there. But it's kind of intimidating for people who don't really know their way around the market very much. And so with this video, we figure we give you those 5 ideas under $45. Pretty much anyone out there who is a traditional archer is going to appreciate these. You fine-tune what fits to them, figure out a little bit of R&D as far as what they need, fill the gap. It's going to be a good Christmas. Thanks for watching, guys.